Solve the equation x cubed plus 2x squared equals to 24x. So for us to solve this equation, we want to factor, but before we can factor this, we have to make sure that this equation is equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 24x to both sides. So we have here x cubed plus 2x squared minus 24x equals to 0, because those 24x's are going to cancel out and we want it to equal to 0. So make sure you place your terms in descending order, and it is x squared, x cubed, x squared, and x. Now we can factor. As we factor, we want to ask ourselves, is there a GCF that can be factored out? And yes, there is one. We can factor out an x, and then what do we have left over? X squared plus 2x minus 24 equals to 0. Then we want to factor this trinomial. And we want to factor, well, first of all, our sign. What sign will go in each binomial? Well, the sign of the last term is negative, so we're going to have opposite signs. What are we going to put in for our first term? X and x. Now for our last term, we want to list factors of 24. So I'm going to list them over here. Which set of factors that when we subtract, because our signs are opposites of one another, that means we're going to subtract those numbers. We have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Which pair that when we subtract will give us positive 2? And that is the 4 and 6. So we want the 6 to be positive because we want the higher number to match the sign there, and the 4 to be negative because when you subtract 6 and 4, that would give you positive 2. Now don't forget to bring down the x because that was part of the question. That was what we did. We factored out first. So next, we're going to set each factor. We have an x, set it equal to 0. Then we have x plus 6, that's the second factor, set it equal to 0. And then the third factor, x minus 4, set that factor equal to 0. And then we're going to solve. Well, x equal to 0. There's nothing that we can do. It's equal to 0. That will be a solution. Then we're going to take the second equation, solve for x by subtracting 6 to both sides. We have negative 6. And then we're going to take the third equation, solve for x by adding 4 to each side. And we have x is equal to 4. So our solution is, we're going to put the solutions in numerical order. We have negative 6, 0, and 4. And when I say numerical order, from least to the highest, okay? Or least to greatest, smallest to highest, however you want to look at it, but think of your number line in that order.